Welcome to this look at a new map to console on Farming Simulator 19 with me, MrSealyp. This is Le PETIT OUEST. This is a new to console map by Tom Agri, 210.91 megabytes to download. The update that happened on Friday the 20th of November was for console release. So, I'm on New Farmer, which is what I always do my map tours on. Don't know why I pressed that button. That's what I want. This is the map. What do we start with? Well, on New Farmer mode, we start with all of this. We've got all this peripheral, the roads, lanes, a few bits and bobs. We also start with the biogas plant on New Farmer, which is really very handy. If you come onto this on Farm Manager and start from scratch, you don't have all of this, and to buy the biogas plant is 394,848 because it comes with kind of all this peripheral, the lanes and all those kind of things as well. We do have a bit of a key here. There are two water points. There is one just up here on the map. Let's just come off that again. One up here and one in the middle. That being said, there are loads and loads and loads of placeable water points in the mods hub that you can put anywhere you want anyway, so that's absolutely fine. Back onto this again. So we start with the main farm here. We start with fields 17, 19, 23 and 46. Now 46 and 19 are cow pastures. So we have cows at our farm here and we have two cow pastures. There is also a sheep pasture over here. We've got a farm up here with pigs, but you need to buy that. But that's where our farmhouse is, interestingly. So the farm is over here that we start with, but our farmhouse is up there. And there are chickens also at this farm. Field prices are very, very reasonable. 50,000, I think the most expensive is only about 300 or something. No, maybe not even that much, 150, where was it? Field 36, 214. So yeah, field prices not too bad at all. You can kind of gradually build up very nicely. This is a lovely map. Are contracts available? Yes, they are. Are there any additional crop types? No. As far as mods go, we're in that weird situation again, where if we go into store or the menu here and go across to our placeables, nothing is showing in here as mods at all. Nothing. But under farmhouses, we do have the farmhouse, which is fine. As you can see, we're on 607 out of 1,299 slots on New Farmer, which isn't too bad. We start with a fair bit of equipment. Now, as far as the mods go, this is where things get a bit weird. Because if I go to Garage, again, we've had this a lot on maps recently. We've got a fair bit of machinery. We start with the Massey Ferguson 5610, a T6155, a TX32, TKD302 trailer, header for the TX32. We've got a plough, cultivator, we've got a power harrow, seeder, planter, fertilizer, herbicide sprayer, fertilizer spreader. We've got a feed mixer, water container. We've got a fair bit of equipment. Stuff for looking after the cows. We've got front loader attachments. We've got header trailer, weights, and then we've got on these pastures. But these all say mod underneath, but aren't showing as. We've had this a lot. Now it could be argued, well, that's just the regular pastures we've got in game. They're just saying mod under there. But the thing is, if you sell all of those, you can't then buy them back. You have to be very careful. One of these cow pastures is linked to field 19. One is linked to field 46. Actually, that one and that one are field 19 and field 46. And that one is linked to the main farm. Be very careful, because I had a bit of a go on start from scratch trying to place a farmhouse, and every bit of land I owned, it said that there was a collision, or I didn't own the land, even though I had bought the land. So again, it's one of those ones. Just be very cautious. That's all I'm going to say. Is the map seasons ready? It doesn't say in the mod hub. Now I've said that a few times on map tours recently, where I've said it doesn't say in the mod hub. I'm not saying it's not season ready. It may well be season ready, because a lot of people say it definitely is. It's season. I'm not saying it's not. All I'm saying is it doesn't say in the mod hub. I don't know if it is or not, but it's not saying in the mod hub. So the main farm that we start with here, although our farmhouse isn't here, we're facing south at the moment. North is that way. We're going to head round the yards. Now, to start off with, we've got our milk point here. Doors all open to the building. As we go round and through, there's all sorts of doors that open here. Lots of wards one as well. Milking parlour just in there. So feed triggers are inside. We've got 2 bunker silos just here. We've got some of our equipment up in the corner there, which we'll have a look at in just a second. We've got our manure pit is just to the side there, and our buy, sell, load or unload for the cows here is just here. This is the one that will hold 200, so we have 200 cows here at this main farm. There is a water trough in the field as well, in the pasture. We'll have a look at, well, we just looked at there, haven't we? Yeah, but the equipment there. That's one thing. Another thing I will say, this is a very nicely laid out map. Textures, the palette used is brilliant. It has a really very, very natural feel to it. I like this one a lot. It's not a huge map by any stretch of the imagination, but it's so well done. Slurry pit is just there. Very nice. Load more equipment down here. Now what I'm going to do is grab the New Holland, because it's a little bit faster. I'm going to disconnect that. I'm going to drop off the weight. I'm just going to grab the trailer. Now it does say in the website Mod Hub that in some of the updates, it's had hedge collisions have been removed. The addition of one of the water points was put in. The addition of a BGA and the sheep pen. So none of those were on here originally. I was just going to check the silo. Which is on the other side. Can't remember now. Oh, there we go. Yep, so some more equipment around here, and I think we've got our workshop trigger. It is just tucked away there behind the harvester, so the harvester's obviously having a bit of work done on it. Now when it says hedge collisions are removed, what that often means is you can walk through them, some vehicles can go through them, usually harvester headers won't, bales won't, pallets won't, that kind of thing, unless you lift them up out the way. Generally speaking, that's what it means when it says hedge collisions are removed. It's very unusual to have a map with no hedge collisions and you can put absolutely anything through the hedges, but again, as far as I'm aware, now again, these silos aren't modded. These aren't like purchasable or sellable. They're just kind of built in. As far as I know, this is regular crop types. Yeah, there's no additional anything in those. So if you want to have anything extra, you might want to go for multi-fruit silos and those kind of things. Now, moving on from here, I'm going to do an anti-clockwise route round this time. I know I usually try and pick a clockwise route or a route that sort of takes in everything, and that's what I will try to do. You'll get a feel for this already as well. It's a lovely map. It really is. Again, it's not going to be for people that like big open maps, loads of open space, and it's got a lot of fences, a lot of hedges. So, Le Petit Ouest is situated in the department of Loire-Atlantique, on the western coast of France. I looked it up, and what I found to my surprise, let me just pull in here, we've got a yard here, we've got a fuel point here, and this large building. There's no actual workshop in this one, interestingly, but we do have kind of a workshop here, but there's no trigger. But a fuel point is just around the side here. The fuel point is over here in this corner. So more storage and shed space. Yeah, that Nantes is the capital of the region, and on the coast is the port of Saint-Nazaire. Now Saint-Nazaire I know a bit about. I didn't realise it was in this area, only because of my kind of World War II, bit of a history buff, that kind of thing. And I watched a programme a while ago with Jeremy Clarkson. I think it was on the You know, they go into the family tree, like family history. Mine's gone blank. Anyway, it was Jeremy Clarkson, and one of his relatives had been on the Saint-Nazaire raid during World War II, which not a lot of people know about. Operation Chariot. And it was to raid the Saint-Nazaire port and the dry docks at Saint-Nazaire. And if they could damage and destroy the dry docks, it would force the German fleet up the coast back to their home ports, which put them in reach of the Royal Navy, and potentially, causing devastating effects. Let me just carry on here. Sorry, I've got a bit of history as we're going around as well. This is one of the cow pastures that we start off with, just here. Feed and water trigger inside. There's your trigger for buying, selling, loading or unloading. This pasture here at field 19 will hold 50 cows. So 200 at the main farm, 50 here at this pasture. The landscape is lovely. It's so nice. It's got an incredible feel. I'm going to keep saying. Anyway, so yeah, so that was the plan. Now it was done by the Royal Navy and the Royal Marine Commandos. 660-ish men, 661, something like that, I think, took part. And it was pretty much known that it was going to be a suicide mission, that no one thought they were going to come back from it, which is quite scary when you think about it. Here we are now at, no, do it every single time. We are up here, so we come along from the main farm, we've done that little yard there with the fuel, up to field 19. We're now at the Cooperative Agricole, which is the main sell point for the map, and it's pretty much the only main sell point here on the map. And then we've obviously got the peripheral ones, things for wool and cotton, which is the spinnery sell point, which is tucked over in the corner here. So that's your spinnery sell point. Very unassuming, you wouldn't necessarily know it was there. And then we've got a lime buy point just over here. So we're going to carry on back across the map. And the plan was, with a load of support craft and HMS Campbelltown, which was, they requisitioned the ship, they packed the ship in the hull lining with explosives. And the plan was to go kind of into the estuary, in towards Saint-Nazaire, to the harbour, and then ram the ship into the dry dock gates, which they did. Commandos spilled out all over the place, and their job was to go and attack peripheral targets and various different things. So the Campbelltown was rammed into the gates. They couldn't move them, and I think it was a day later or a little bit later, on timers, everything went off and destroyed loads of the dry dock and the dry dock gates and all sorts of stuff, which were never repaired until 1948. So it had the desired effect. But the thing about it was, of the 661 men that took part, I think only 230 odd came home straight after the mission. Some were held, kept prisoner of war, and some were killed. And in that engagement, that one raid, 5 Victoria Crosses were awarded during that raid. The greatest raid of all time, they claim. 5 Victoria Crosses. I mean, I think there were something like 90 awards, medals and things were awarded, but 5 Victoria Crosses. I'm pretty sure that's one of the most for a single engagement in history or something like that. But anyway, if you go to the Imperial War Museum in London, they have got a model, a big mock-up of the Saint-Nazaire docks, and there's a whole thing about it. It is fascinating. But for me, it was just, as soon as I kind of put a bit of information on about this area and found the Department of Loire-Atlantique, I suddenly thought, oh, that's Saint-Nazaire, that's incredible. Anyway, sorry, I've waffled enough about history. I know people want to see farming stuff and the map, which is what I'm doing. So we've had to do a bit of a route round because there's not a direct route into the main store, but we'll cut around here. And we're now coming up on the main store, which is the class dealership. Just here. The detailing on here is lovely. It's a really nice building. All the shelves with various different things to buy. So you can do it from the trigger here, or so you can do it from your main menu. It's entirely up to you. And then we've got our repair, customise and sell point. It's just here, or repaint, depending if you're doing seasons. And the reset point is also here. So when you're buying anything, it spawns out here on this forecourt. If you have to reset anything, it resets here back to the main store. Moving on from here, I'm going to head out to the other farm, which is the pig farm. Now, because we own the cows on New Farmer off the start, both the cow pastures you own already. As you've already seen, we start with the cow pastures. The pig farm, although the farmhouse is there, we don't actually own the pig farm, and we don't own the sheep pen either, or the sheep pasture. If you want access to those and to be able to put animals into them, you need to buy the land. So the triggers are there, but it won't allow you to buy, sell, load or unload at those points until you own the land. So you are going to need to own the land first. But I just, as I'm, I don't know. As I've said before, there are pretty maps, there are functional maps, there are maps that are somewhere in between. This is a really pretty map. It's really nicely put together. It has a lovely, lovely feel to it, as you can probably already see. Now, if you come onto this on Farm Manager or start from scratch, because you don't own any land, to buy the biogas plant is 394,848. So you have to own the biogas plant if you want to be able to use it. We are now in the kind of, well, northwest-ish part of the map. Again, very pretty, very picturesque. Our farmhouse that we start with is here. Now, potentially, there are loads of farmhouse triggers available. So if you were to come onto this on Farm Manager or start from scratch, you don't start with the farm. Oh no, you do start with the farmhouse. The two things you do start with, weirdly, you start with the farmhouse trigger, not the building. There's a trigger here. And you start with the cow pasture on field 19 for some reason. I keep pressing. That's driving me mad. There we go. So yeah, when you come onto this on Farm Manager or start from scratch, you start with that pasture and the house, but nothing else. No machinery, no equipment. And the slot count on Farm Manager and start from scratch is 445. So it drops from 607 to 445. But again, be careful. If you buy this plot, which will cost you 82,000, you can then use the cows here. But what I did find, if you sell that pasture there, field 19, you lose the trigger. That goes, that icon disappears, you can't get that back. I'm assuming that will be the same if you do it for field 46. Haven't tried that. Just be careful. It's that land thing. So, sleep trigger is just here. I am exhausted at the moment, but I don't have time to sleep. I've got things to do. Around the sides here, we've got our chickens. Now that kind of comes with the house trigger, oddly. If you come up here and you haven't got the house trigger, you can't then access the chickens. Again, just be very careful. Chickens will hold, how many chickens was it? 400 chickens we can have, and our egg pallets spawn here. Egg boxes, sorry, egg pallets. Cross the road and we're into the pig farm, which we don't own at the moment, but it's not too expensive to buy. We've got some barn space around the sides here. Now actually, that's what I wanted to check. Let me see. Oh, God, this is driving me mad, right. Let's buy this plot. I think I've got enough, haven't I? Yeah, 48,944. Yes, so when you buy the plot, you get a tool workshop trigger. So until you buy the plot, it doesn't have one. When you buy it, then you've got a workshop trigger there as well. Very nice. We've got the the pig pen is in here. Straw bedding goes in here on the inside. Feed goes in there. We come down the side. We've got our manure point is just here. Our slurry pit is just here. And our trigger for the pigs is just here, like so. This will hold, how many pigs? 300 pigs. But like I say, that trigger, if you don't own the land, when you come up to it and click L3, nothing happens. So you have to own the land first before the trigger will appear. So that is obviously drive through, makes life a little bit easier. So manure, slurry, feed round the side, bedding in there, and I think the water trough is in here. The water trough is in the pig pen. So there we go. That will hold 300. And as we're seeing, the actual plots to buy the farms and stuff, it's not that expensive at all. I think this is a nice kind of start map if you're new to the game as well, because it's not too big, prices aren't too expensive. You can use small machinery. You're not going to get away with massive machinery around this map. I mean, you could try. I just don't think it would work that well with big machinery, but you could try. So, heading south-ish, we are going to come up on, very strangely, the egg cell point and the sawmill. And when I say that, I use those words very liberally, is that the word? Very, you'll see. Right, so here, that there is our sell point. So we've gone from, well, we went from the shop all the way across to this area here, which we bought. We've come down the road here. So La Voisine, we go across one, down or up to La Voisine and across. That is, I think, just eggs. Yeah, that's our egg sell point at La Voisine. At this person's house, they buy them off you. And our sawmill is here. This is our lumber sell point in this person's back garden. I'm assuming they're the local woodcutter. I'm not quite sure. Wood supplier. Now, I don't know if there's a wood chip sell point. But as we come back onto this menu and scroll across, there is a price for wood chip there, and it says sawmill. So all I can assume, again at this point, and I apologise for keep using the word assume, that you can sell wood chips into this trigger as well as putting logs in here. Because there aren't two separate ones. And if I put that on and go down to sawmill and click on tag place, oh, I was just standing, that's where it tags. So there you go, that's your egg cell point and your sawmill. Probably one of the smallest sawmills I've come across on any map. Continuing on, we haven't got much left to see. But what there is left to see is lovely. This is a cracking French map, this. So we're now in pretty much the southwest corner of the map, just crossing the river, which goes under a culvert underneath there. We've got our dairy sell point, which is just there. Laiterie on the left, that one there. We've got our livestock market, which is that one, just there. And then we get our biogas plant, which is this one on the end. Two bunker silos, actually of different sizes. And then we've got our sell point for whatever the biogas plant will take. Actually, what will the biogas plant take? It will take our silage, it will take grass, it will take hay, it will take manure, and it will take slurry. Although Cooperative Agricole will also take them at a slightly higher price at the moment. So I'm assuming that's like the bale sell point as well then, Cooperative Agricole, because there's not a separate bale sell point on this one. Again, there are some placeable sell points and things if you want to add more sell points in. Provided you can find somewhere that will allow you to place them, you should be okay. Just going to continue on here, because just at the end here is where our sheep pasture is. Just hop out here. So our sheep pasture is here. And if I click L3 now, nothing. I've got nothing coming up. Again, you need to own the land. If you own the land, then you'll get the sheep pasture icons will come up. That's where your pallets will spawn for your wool. That's your feed trigger. That's your water trough. I'm not sure how much this plot costs actually. Let's go across. So from the laiterie, livestock market, biogas plant, this plot here shouldn't be too expensive, I don't think. 34,000. Let's buy that. So now trigger should come up. There we go. So for buying, selling, loading or unloading of sheep, this will hold 80 sheep. Here at field 37. Which then brings me on to the last point, which is the last cow pasture. And that's at field 46, I think it is. That's where we're heading for. Now, if you want to get the slot count right down, I say right down, if you come on, I say farm manager and start from scratch is 445 out of 1299. You can get it down to 440. if you sell the cow pasture on field 19 and you sell the house trigger, it will drop to 440. That's as low as you're going to get it. Again, I think the fact they say mod is because they're on the map and technically are sellable, but they are built into the map. So it's that thing of, and if the ground is uneven or a particular shape, or to be able to put them back on again if you sell them becomes incredibly difficult. It was the same on the South Brazilian map when I said about that, because two of the pastures were on steep hillsides. The ability to be able to buy them back and place a pen or a pasture on a steep hillside is almost impossible. And that's again probably why they weren't showing up. So cross the ford. We're at the last point here. Let's go back to the map. So we've come from field 37, back across there, down this little track, and down here to field 46. So as you can see, from the farm we've done a loop round pretty much the whole map, right the way across and down. Now there are parts of the map we haven't been to look at yet. We haven't been to the water point here down from the farm, and we didn't go to the one up here out from the other farm. But like I say, there are loads of placeable water points, so it's not something I generally check for. Circle opens and closes the gates. I know someone messaged in the comments the other day and said I didn't show how to open and close the gates on the South Brazilian map. It's the same as any gates anywhere. Right? Just press circle when you come up to them and the gates will open. And our buy, sell, load or unload point is just there. This pasture will also hold 50. So the main cow farm will do 200 and the pastures will do 50 cows each. Let's close that. And that's it. That's the map. That's Le Petit Ouest by Tom Agri. It's not huge, you know, but it is really, really nice. I like this one a lot. Anyway, that's it. I don't think there's anything else to say. I'm trying to think. I'm looking down my list. I think I pretty much covered everything. Yeah. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. As always, thanks for watching.